Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come out here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Thursday Night Live. Y'all surviving this retrograde? Y'all feel like you're swimming underwater? How's that energy going for you all? It's been a very interesting retrograde. Actually, no, for me, though, and especially after the clips, I have been feeling just kind of chill, actually. Everyone else has been kind of going through it. But I've been feeling like kind of like almost like a hangover in a sense. So we'll see how things start picking up, I would say, in the next week or so. And we'll see what the collective read has to say about it, too. And today we're talking about dreams, the different aspects of dreams and how we can utilize them. So there's different formats of dreams. So we'll get into that topic as well. And that's a topic I feel will be good for, the community to chime in and to get very much into the space of, kind of understanding the dream state. So we can have a great collective discussion regarding that. And then, of course, we'll open up to one-on-one readings. As always, and as you see here, $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, and $40 for a live video. And so the live videos are only for Venmo only, because once you send your payment for Venmo, I will then reply back with a link to click to join the live video when it is your turn. So if you book a live video, please, again, keep the phone by your side, because when it's up to your turn, I will definitely be sending you that link and we'll get you on the screen. Okay? And so who do we have in the room today? Who's chatting here? We got David Cruz, Jennifer Cruz. What's going on? Our wonderful mod Nina is in the room doing her thing. Allie Taylor, good to see you. Sydney Aaron, what is going on? Good to see you too as well. Just browsing down. Lisa Cruz, good to see you. Jerry, hello, welcome. Rashida, it's been great to see you. Teresa H, welcome. Ali Boba, great to see you tonight. Cat Reader, good to see you. Tommy Garassi, hey, what up, man? Lorraine, hey, Scott, what's going on? I'm actually reading the comments. Hi, Lorraine. I mean, hi, not hi, Scott, but hi, Lorraine. Kristen Reader, good to see you too. I don't know if I'm repeating things here because a lot of guys are just chatting away in there. Kimberly Rapp, welcome. Good evening to you as well. Patty Snow, good to see you. And those who are watching, welcome aboard. I can't see you. I can only see you chat in the chat. So welcome aboard. And those who are new, as you know, we do, as those of us know, for those who are new. See, this retrograde got me all stumbling on my words and stuff. I was talking about that with Nina earlier. She's been stumbling on her words too. And I've been kind of like making up words as I go along. But those who don't know, I start with a collective read, and then we get into our topic, and then we start the live reading process. So get your readings in now so we can actually, you don't miss out on that. Because a lot of people toward the end of last week started coming toward the end when readings are closed, and they're trying to fight to get the readings in the last minute. So get them in ahead of time. And Nita will be guiding you. The Venmo and PayPal links are in the description, and so you can post that there as well. Okay, Burgundy, good to see you. And Zen Gen Fitness, good to see you as well. All right, let's get the collective read started, shall we? Let's shuffle these cards. And actually, before I do, we have Nina's read. And let's see what Nina's quick note is for.
Hey, Thursday crew, it's me, Nina. I'm excited to do a poll for y'all. Already as I'm shuffling, though, I am getting this energy around acceptance that's coming through, that it's time to create. and also accept what was in order to allow what's going to come this week for you. There's an element also around surrender that's coming through very strongly, and a really great way to integrate that energy of surrender, they're saying, is through the dream space, by accepting the messages that come through in the astral, as well as any synchronicities that pop up. Spirit saying journal it, write it down. Right now is a really great time for your loved ones and your guides to connect with you. And in the astral, it's just a perfect space for it. So this week, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to the signs, accept, release, and create.
That is right. Because our dreams are messengers. And we'll get into that with the topic too, of which levels that we have and we experience in different dreams and what they mean and how to utilize them and how to really extract the messages from the dreams. And we'll get into that. So let's shuffle these cards. Let's get on shuffling. And we definitely agree with that as about receiving. Because remember, there is a divine purpose for your life. And there's a divine order for things too. And when we say divine, it means, some say divine as far as God, but, we are connected to that God source. So, we do have a purpose. We do have a plan, and we're out of alignment to that. Things kind of go crappy. Things get a little shitty. Things get a little funky, right? And that's the opposition. And so when you really tap into the soul essence, then all the divine purpose becomes really much, I would say, obvious. It becomes clear. And the intuition becomes very dominant, because then you start knowing, okay, I got to go make this turn, make that left turn. And then you realize how much messages we are receiving on a day-to-day through our dream space, or do the space of, just inspiration, or just simple guidance, or even through connections through spirit. And I say spirit, I'm talking about those of you who have those that you love in spirit, but also through our spirit guides. There's an abundance of connection. There's abundance of spiritual resource that we have. And so I'm still a shuffling. You probably see the camera jiggling. And but let's see. And it's funny because Nina actually went to buy a tarot, not a tarot deck, but an oracle card deck, and she so happened to pick the same one that I have unconsciously. So I said it'd be funny if I picked the same card she picked in the beginning of the read. That'd be kind of funny. So let's see if that happens. If not, that means Spirit just has something additional. Okay, let's see. That's good to hear, Burgundy. And feel free to share too. Like, if a lot of you guys who have had session readings with me, even live here, the community loves to hear updates too, because it's kind of like we create our own soap opera here on this live. And a lot of you guys are so involved in each other's, situations. It's really good to hear, the feedback, and also hear kind of like what's been going on. So, all right, let's see what this collective read is. I'm going to pull some oracles too right now. And when I say collective, we're talking about the room, and also those who are watching. When I refer to collective as far as the world, I definitely will identify. And those who are new, I don't really need tarot cards. I'm not a tarot reader. I utilize tarot in collective circumstances like this as a guide point to make things easier. And for things to be, again, in a general circumstance like this, I want something to go off of, and the cards kind of help with that to kind of inspire a direction of the read. And one more time, just shuffling with these cards one more time. Okay. Interesting. Seems like we have another repetitive message here, but I think those of you watching need to hear this, because it's kind of all over the place. I'm just going to pull a couple more of the tarot, because I think there's kind of, yeah, this is a very scattered read. I'm going to go based off this read. Y'all are all over the place. So this read will be for the week. How about this, guys? The collective read will be for the week. You all are all over the place. And I think this is, I would say, indicative of things that are not in order and things that you need to bring in order in your life at this time. So even though we've had this retrograde and the eclipse that caused a lot of disarray energetically, that doesn't mean that we're a slave to that. It doesn't mean that we are bound to, experiencing that just because. It's revealing to us the things in our life that have been in disarray. So a lot of you guys feel like you're all over the place. You feel very scattered and split, and there's excitements, but there's worries and there's fears. It's all over the place. And so I think you guys just need to start realizing the bigger picture of the dreams that you're having in your life. You know, the dreams that you really created of your direction of the future, the things that make you excited, the things that kind of, you know, make you feel like you want to be alive. Those things, you know, those dreams need to come to realization. But in order for them to do so, you have to kind of understand the dynamics of them and the dynamics of your life that need to be shifted and altered in order for them to come to pass. So everything that is scattered right now, everything that is fragmented right now is really getting you to realize the things that you need to clean up. Look, it's April, spring cleaning time, right? So we got to start that spring cleaning within. And I would say this is a really good reflection when these things start surfacing. I said this last week when it came to when you go into an old house and you move that, you know, refrigerator and these cockroaches start scattering and scurrying around. It's the same with the mind. When you move something that needs to be moved, that's been sitting there for a while, all these subconscious residues come to light, and it gives you the power to clean it up. And so this week, primarily, they're saying it's time to clean house. It's time to clean the subconscious. It's time to clean up your homes in a sense that you are allowing yourself to clean out the space to invite new in, right? In order to, you have the space to have a new guest or visitor, right? The room has to be clean, right? So the same thing, see this figuratively in a sense of in order for these new experiences and these dreams to come to fruition, you have to allow yourself the time and the space to do so and to allow it to come in. And so a lot of this fragmentation is actually, I would say, always a reflection of what's going on in your subconscious mind. And that scattered energy, the fragmented energy, you know, is really much there to just take a look at and spend time looking at the different pieces. And a lot of you guys have pieces of the past that don't connect anywhere. It's a missing piece. It's probably a missing piece from an old relationship that didn't connect, but you still have the piece from it, but it's just you've carried that piece still, and therefore you feel this kind of uneasy energy with relationships because that missing piece is still there, but you're thinking, I have to fit this piece somewhere. It's like, no, that piece doesn't belong here. That's from the wrong picture. That's from the wrong puzzle. Start looking at the pieces that you have now that fit the bigger picture and let go and get rid of those puzzle pieces that do not fit the picture that you're trying to create now. And that's where I think a lot of this revelation of, you know, these subconscious, you know, I would say residue that's coming to light is giving you the opportunity to clean house in that sense. So you can be prepared and you can welcome the things that you've been wanting, the things that you've been striving for. You can welcome them in with peace and with ease. And it wouldn't be, I would say, feel like it's intrusive because a lot of you guys have relationships of the past that are still open. And we talked about breaking psychic bonds last week. And so, you know, a lot of these connections still remain active. And so what's happening is that is keeping you stuck. That's keeping you reserved into not allowing new relationships to come in because you have this subconscious reserve, that missing piece. I got to fit this somewhere. But you know that piece can only be fit in that old picture. And so bringing that subconscious to light and to bring to the conscious mind will allow you to get rid of it. So my point is, this whole scattered energy, this whole fragmentation you're feeling right now is a very positive thing. It's an empowerment phase because it's allowing you to sift and sort and get rid of the crap, right? And then hold on to, you know, this is the piece of the picture that I need. This is a piece of the picture that I need. This isn't. Next. And so I think that this is the part of where things start coming to fruition. This is where things really start coming to fruition. Because by cleaning your house, it's a demonstration of self-love. It's a demonstration of it. Because if you're saying, people think self-love means, I love myself, and you look at yourself in the mirror saying, I love you. It's like, spare me. Self-love is an act. It's not it's not talk. It's an act. And so when you practice cleaning your house up, you practice getting rid of the clutter, that's a form of self-love. That is an act of self-love. And when you do so, that actually creates protection, energetic protection around you. Because what you're doing is you're setting the boundaries again. Again, we've been talking about setting boundaries for quite a long time. And just because the message is coming up again doesn't mean you guys aren't learning. It just means that there needs to be another reminder of such. And this setting boundaries fits perfectly into this fragmentation phase of cleaning house and understanding what you need next that fits a bigger picture in your life. That dream. The things that you've been dreaming about. The things that you've been dreaming of seeing yourself doing. Setting those boundaries protects anything from blindsiding you out of that picture. And the next card is acceptance, which means that you got to accept where you're at right now. It's not just accepting things because things are, it's accepting where you're at right now. And accepting the fact that you may not be in that dream, or you may not have fully realized that dream, but accepting that that's part of the process. That allows things to accelerate. So many guys are kicking and screaming about, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be in this state, I don't want to be in this state. Nah. And the divine purpose is you'll get there. But you guys are dragging yourselves through the mud just because you don't like the process. A lot of you guys are dragging yourself through the mud because you have to create the ideas right now, or create, the logic behind getting that dream accomplished. A lot of you guys are fighting the fact that you have to clean things up and let go of things. A lot of you guys are resisting that change and dragging yourself through the mud because you don't want to let go of these things, or start getting yourself intellectually on board. When you have a dream, you just think, I need to be in that dream now. It's like, well, we got to prepare for that dream. You might have to get some education to match that dream. You might have to, get some sort of experience in situations to let that dream come to manifestation. So don't forget the process. The dream is very real, but we have to prepare it in the physical sense, the intellectual sense, to get that dream to be into realization. And that should be the easy part. That should be the fun process. That shouldn't be hard, actually. But a lot of you guys are making that the process part way too hard. And it's like the baby that's kicking and screaming. That's kind of a human condition. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. And it's like, all right, stop the crying. Let's get through this. Let's speed up. Let's accelerate this time. So this fragmentation is actually a blessing. It's like the universe and spirit saying to you, look, this is what's wrong. This piece doesn't fit. This piece does fit. It's allowing you to look at the table and say, what do you want? What do you want of what's here and what you need to get rid of? It's giving that opportunity, clear as day. And so I think you guys should be taking advantage of this now, because if this was, I would say this scattered energy is indicative of the fact that this dream is going to come to pass, because it wouldn't be pushing to you the stage of being trying to be in a realization state. Spirit would not be pushing this on you. If you were meant to not have the dream accomplished, you wouldn't be going through frustration. You wouldn't be going through this process of realization of what do I need to do. You wouldn't be in this fragmented state. Okay? None of this stuff would be happening to you if these dreams were not going to be realized by you at some point. So Spirit's pushing this on you to get you to wake up and to snap out of it, right? So I want you guys to look at this in a different perspective. Because, we should be taking advantage of retrogrades, the energy of retrogrades. We should be taking advantage of eclipse energies. We should not be sitting around saying, okay, there's a force and, I'm just feeling thrown around. And I've been saying this like a broken record for the past few months, that you're going to feel that energy. If you're not doing the work, you're going to feel thrown around. A lot of the things that are unresolved are going to be amplified too, and you're going to feel it. I've been kind of psychic on what was going to be happening in 2024. I started this work in 2022, 23 is when I started doing the purge and shifting all that. So, I have to be ahead because I have to be able to help, because my mission is to help people go through the changes and help people to go through their evolution and go through their transformation. So I'm always a year or two ahead because of that. And plus I'm psychic. So I've been through it. So I knew what to prepare for. And so I've been saying for months. And so a lot of you guys are starting to see those unresolved being amplified too. For me, I know it's confirmation that I've done the work, because this retrograde has no effect on me whatsoever. I just been chill, just hearing everybody else's stuff, and that's okay. But there has to be a voice that's been through it that can actually guide you through it. And that's what I'm here for. So understand, this is a really, really good phase for you. Because I remember when I started fragmenting, I believe this was a year ago, I was fragmenting beliefs that I'd had that were beliefs I was teaching. And ways of life I was following. But Spirit's like, this doesn't fit your mission. No. That's not true to you. It's not true for you. It's not true, period. Right? And so I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I've been preaching these ideologies. I believed in this. I practice it. And Spirit's like, but that's what's making your life difficult and more complicated. And that's what's slowing your life down. So I had to deconstruct beliefs of what I was teaching. Old trauma started resurfacing. It was a mess. But I was able to see all the pieces there to decipher, that's what it is. I'm replacing it with this. And it was a lot easier to make that transformation for me. And so it could be very easy for you. And I'll tell you why it would be easier for you, because I'm Aquarius with Virgo rising. I'm stubborn as hell. So where are all the Virgos in the room? Okay. So my Virgo is very dominant when it comes to decision making. And so I was very stubborn letting go of beliefs and trying to latch onto new ones. But my Aquarius allowed me to let go of that, my Aquarius in me. So you guys will be doing the same and realize that this is a time for you to start developing the new paradigm and grabbing onto new ideas, and also things that you've been feeling for quite some time that really hasn't been something you've been grabbing onto, but your intuition is like, I kind of feel this, I should believe in this, and I should practice this or study this or whatever the case is. Start considering that now. That's going to be kind of more of the forefront. Say, I knew I was wrong about that, or I knew I should have been looking in that direction. That's going to be more dominant now. And that's spirit trying to tell you that's the direction to go. And that's where your soul is calling you. Okay. So take advantage of these energies, guys. Okay. And I think that's where you're going to start seeing an acceleration. And it's almost like you phase into the dream. Even though the dream isn't completely realized, you feel like I'm in the vicinity of my dream now. I'm actually in the essence of my dream. I actually feel the energy around me being aligned to this dream. I feel excited that things are going to evolve. I'm doing it. And, being in that dream just requires that you become the person that is in the dream. It's not what you're doing per se, because a lot of times you'll be pounding the pavement, nothing's getting done, nothing's happening, because you're doing it from the same old beliefs, the old logic, the old person. You got to become that newer person, the confident, the intuitive individual, one that's very insightful, one that's very determined and full of passion, and not letting other people over encumber you with stress and anxiety. Right? The self-love thing we keep talking about. That's where you start realizing your dream state more. And that actually forms a protection, like we were saying before, because when you really start developing that self-love and clearing your space out and saying this comes in, this goes out, and you're constantly in that state of thinking, in a state of modality, then you actually will naturally filter out things that don't serve you and that may be drained from you. So remember that. Let me pull a couple more oracles and we'll get into the topic, because dreams are a huge messenger. Now, we're not talking about dreams that you create. We're talking about the dreams that you receive. And again, to be frank, I mean, of course, we're creating all of it, but, it's the experience of such. We have different forms of dreams. But I'm going to pull a few more oracle cards, and we're going to see how we conclude the collective read and get into the quick topic. Okay. I mean... I laugh because you can't make this up sometimes on the polls. The first card was purity. What does purity represent to you guys? Cleanness, being pure, right? Not contaminated, right? Isn't that what purity means to you? Second card is realization. What was I saying? When you clean house, you'll start realizing your dream. And the last card was the path. I mean, I think it speaks for itself, doesn't it not? So if the cards cannot be more on point, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. So keep it simple. And I think a lot of times we overcomplicate, we over-intellectualize things too much. And so what we do is we become paralyzed by analysis, hamster on the wheel, and I think a lot of the spiritual communities today are just so focusing on the mechanics of things. Somehow studying the mechanics of things is helping your spiritual life to grow. I mean, that could be fun and all, but that's not helping your spiritual growth by studying the mechanics of the universe. It actually be a big distraction. So, my point is not to say to focus on this stuff. I'm very fascinated by the mechanics. I studied that for a while, the mechanics of the universe, and it goes on and on and on. But it's very simplistic. But it doesn't change your spiritual growth. It might help skeptics or those that don't believe in spirituality to understand how the more you dive into science, the more spiritual you become. I heard that from a couple of scientists that, they were saying that the more they dive deep into science, the more spiritual they start to become through the process. So it's okay to study the mechanics, but understand that's not helping spirituality. Let's not try to dive too deep into certain things, thinking that's going to help your physical course here. Your evolution of your soul is going to help the evolution of your course. Studying yourself and understanding the self is what's going to help your course. If you want to study the mechanics of things and think that's spiritual, that's great. Do that as a hobby. But the mission is to study yourself. You need to know yourself in and out like a book. You need to know that you're going to make a decision before you make it 10 steps ahead. You got to be 10 steps ahead of yourself. See, this retrograde got me tripping on my words. Still, it's bugging me because I don't like it. So dreams, okay? Dreams come in different formats, right? And they all posed with, come with different messages. The most common dream is you go to sleep, you have a dream. It's unrelated to like any physical circumstance that you're in, but it's kind of like a dream, right? It's kind of a fantasy. And I always say those dreams are still messengers. They're telling you things in your life that you're missing. They're telling you about things in your life that need to be there. They're also telling you about things in your life that are not there that probably need to be reconsidered. So those type of dreams that don't really relate to anything you're going through, they're kind of really random, look at the energetic tone beneath it. Because it's telling you this is what you need to change. This is what you need to realize about yourself to grow, to evolve. This is what you need to understand and evoke this emotion, this energy, so you can actually move on. Sometimes these very fearful dreams and what we call nightmares are just your fear manifests. Dreams are just your subconscious coming to life. It's your subconscious on a movie screen is what most dreams are. So fear-based dreams, it's just amplifying what you've been fearing. And sometimes when we can amplify the fear in a dream, we can somehow intellectually override that fear and replace that with empowerment. So dreams can be very helpful to overcome fears, actually, if you allow the process to be. But a lot of guys are haunted by fear-based dreams simply because, you're not addressing the fear. And so allow those dreams to help you to form a different intellect on the fear, and also bring in an intellect that you know that you need. That's what those dreams are really for. There are other dreams now that are, very much about circumstances that you are in. And it's kind of very much similar to what we were just saying before, is that they're just revealing to you how you feel about a circumstance. It's revealing to you even things that you may not be saying in the physical life, the things that you need to be saying. So a lot of times your dreams are telling you, say this, do this, feel this, be this, or stop being this, stop talking so much. Someone may have a dream like, I was just talking to someone and they shot me. I don't know why. And I say, you ever consider that you might be talking too much? I never thought about that. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many different ways that there's extremes in our dreams that's trying to give us a message of stop doing that. You're not listening in a sense. So those types of dreams that don't relate to your physical circumstances, but just kind of like stories that you're feeling and so forth. And those that do relate to your circumstances, they're all just messengers to get you to understand what you're doing and what you need to stop doing or what you need to start doing. So take those messages. And a lot of times they're not really symbolic. They're just kind of about the essence of that. So that's that forms. Now there are dreams that are very symbolic. And so the symbolic dreams are actual, I would say, when I see people, especially when I was getting symbolic dreams, that means you're on the brink of having a massive intuitive breakthrough. Because when you start getting symbolic dreams, you have to use your intuition to say, what does this mean to me? You're kind of using your claircognizance, your clairsentience, your clairvoyance, and clairaudience to kind of decipher, what do these symbols mean? Putting the pieces together. So symbolic dreams means you have either psychic abilities, mediumship abilities, and you're being put to the test and trying to decipher the energy behind it, which means that's going to help you to become a better channel. So the very symbolic dreams, remember, is to help you to expand your abilities, actually. And of course, there's a message behind it as well, because there always needs to be a message behind it, in a dream as well. But the symbolic dreams is putting to a test about your psychic abilities. Now, there are also dreams where you have dreams of loved ones who've passed. Please understand, guys, your dream space is the meeting space for those that you love who are in spirit now. Because when we leave the physical world, in a sense, and our consciousness evolves and we go into the astral plane, we have access to those that we've lost in spirit, that we love in spirit. I'm going to say lost because they're not lost, but those that we love who are in spirit, we have access to them in the astral plane, and that's when we're sleeping. We're also allowing ourselves to rearrange our trajectories based on what we're learning as well. And so it's very important to understand when you're getting visitation dreams or have dreams from another person that you have not met, understand they are guides for you. A lot of times, I've had a dream with somebody, I don't know who they were. It's a guide trying to give you a message too, an act of communication. A lot of times it could be an ancestral guide. It could be a guide of someone you never met that's non-physical, or a person who actually wasn't physical that's posing as a guide. You have those visitations during your dreams. And so a lot of times people are just saying, I don't know who it was. I'm like, forget about who it is. What was the message? But who could it be? It's like, does it matter? What's the message? And then figure out who could it be. Right? So don't get so hung up when you have visitation. Who is it? Because then you miss the message. Because if you actually absorb the message and extracted the message from that, you will understand who the person is. If it's a past life connection or karmic connection, a guide connection, ancestral connection, you'll understand that once you allow the message to permeate within you. Okay, so don't start focusing. Who is it? Who is it? Who's this person? Who's this being? There's this being. Who's this being? It's like, what is the being saying to you? Okay, look at the message first, because a lot of times it could be your shadow mind. It could be the shadow version of yourself too, that's trying to talk to you, and your shadow person is manifesting in some sort of a tangible, manifestation, or your subconscious is trying to get you a message in a sense that shows up in an entity, so to speak. Still a guide. You could be creating that guide yourself to get that type of communication as well, but it's also a source of channeling spirit too. Okay, those you guys, like we were saying before with the symbolic dreams, a lot of you guys are having predictive dreams, but that means your psychic ability is opening up. But unfortunately, with your psychic dreams, that you're only having negative responses. Hold on, let me check this message because I have to multitask here. It's freezing. Is it lagging? I'll wait till it stops lagging. I'm going to pause and wait for the lag to finish. So when the lag finishes, guys, let me know. Where did it freeze? At what point did it start freezing? Where did it stop? Where did we lose? On which part did I lose? You guys. Okay, but where did it start lagging so I could start there again? On which part? Because I want to be able to utilize that part. Yeah, thanks, Nina. Which part did it start lagging? On which part of the discussion? So I can go back with it. I think you guys are lagging here. Which part, guys? You guys remember what I was saying? Okay, on who is this being? Thank you, Alibaba. So all you guys who have visitations and there's a guide trying to come through to you with a dream and there's a being, you guys are so focusing on the being that's coming through. The being. And who is this being? It's like, it's not about the being, it's about the message. And when you focus on what the message is, you will get clear insight into who the being is. Because it really is about the message. Sometimes your subconscious will actually create a guide, a being to get through to you, okay? So understand, really focus on the message, not so much the being first, if it's not obvious to you, because like I said, your brain could actually be creating a being just to get a message to you, okay? And that's very important to understand, because some of you guys really kind of miss the point of why things are coming to you. I understand the fascination about who's a person, and I understand the fascination about, people connecting with in dreams, but remember, it's about the message. And so, like I was saying before about symbolic dreams, there's also predictive based dreams. A lot of you guys who are starting to get the psychic abilities, and you're maybe a newer psychic, or those who are starting to really understand about psychic ability within you, you're gonna have a lot of predictive based dreams, but a lot of it's gonna be about deaths or mass destruction. Like, what am I dreaming about? Someone died and it came to pass. I dreamed about a major car accident and it happened. It's like, it's only because, when you're not focusing on expanding your intuition, you're not putting any positive energy on it. Meaning, positive energy means that you're not expanding it, but it's there. So the only way that it can express itself is through a negative energy, which means you're going to read negative events and circumstances. Please understand, I'm not saying positive and negative energy as a judgment. I'm saying positive energy means like an expanding energy. You're growing something. And negative energy means you're not growing anything. It's not expansive. So if you're not expanding your psychic abilities, you're going to have very negative predictions, dreams that are very negatively based. Only deaths, only this and that. So once you start realizing, hey, I actually am predicting something, I have psychic ability, then you start nurturing your ability. Start tapping into your ability a lot more, so you're expanding it, and then it puts positive energy on it. And when you put the positive energy on it, then you'll start reading everything that you want to read. So understand, the predictive-based dreams means that you're starting first to understand that you'll be able to predict, and a lot of times you're least resistant in your dream state. So that's where a lot of things will start coming to you a lot clearer. So expand on it. Don't be concerned. They're negative. It's always death. It's only because you're getting a negative, read on things, because you're not growing it. And once you grow it, you'll have a better, broader perspective. And for some reason, we humans love drama. We love negativity. We love that drama. That's why you all watch The Housewives, right? Because you love that drama, right? And so we love to have that drama. So it does wake us up. It shakes us up. It's more exciting. So, and you'll be more, I would say, apt to realize the negative thing that happened versus like, oh, I dreamt that somebody was going to help someone at the grocery store, and then someone does it, you'll forget it. because it's not that impactful for some reason. So that's why. So remember, dreams are very much like I said before. They're messages of your subconscious mind, the messages of what you should be doing that you're not doing, the messages of what you should be clearing and bringing into your life. They're projections of the future. They're also clear imagery of what you should be expecting, experiencing in the future. They're also predictive based, dreams that helps you to predict things, understand about your psychic abilities, and it's also a great channel to allow you to connect with guides as well as those you love in spirit. So there's so many different formats of dreams. Daydreaming, again, I would say it's just your creative mind and the physical mind kind of at the same time. So a lot of times people daydream and they kind of drift off in a daydream. That just means that they're just not so occupied in the physical sense that they're able to use their imagination more. And when you use your imagination more, you could be an access point to spirit. Many people say, I don't know if it's my imagination or is it spirit. I'm like, it's the same thing. Imagination has two spaces. Imagination has a creative space and a receptor space, a receiving space. So you can create with your imagination, but you can also receive information with your imagination. So remember, imagination doesn't mean just making things up. I mean, in a sense, we're making this all up. You're making every connection up. It's all made up in a sense, but in a sense for the human mind, that there are 2 points in imagination, creative and also reception. So you can identify, like I am imagining this. I'm receiving this message from spirit. That's my imaginative space. Okay, so please don't think imagination means you're just creating nonsense. Okay, you're doing two different jobs with imagination, creating or receiving. And then you could identify if you're daydreaming, if you're being a port, an access point for spirit, or just inspiration. And so it's understanding how to use the mind and how the mind processes things will allow the soul and spirit to be a louder voice and a louder, I would say, flow, and a dominant force to allow you to move forward and to accomplish things you never thought you'd accomplish. It's very important to do that. I think it was Thomas Edison used to, fall asleep on a chair and hold some marbles in his hand, and he'd go and take a nap, and this is where he would receive inspiration. Now, the marbles were so that he didn't fall asleep. Because if he fell asleep, then they would fall on the floor and they'd wake him up. So he wanted to get himself in a deep enough trance, past theta, to allow his brain to settle so he can receive inspiration from spirit. This way the mind is not getting in the way. So understand, when we're in our dream state, we're allowing a lot of information from spirit to come through. And it might appear like it's a meaningless dream, or it might appear like it's like a negative thing, but it's actually a message behind it. Seek the message, seek the information, and everything will be clear, and you'll be able to utilize more of the subconscious to your favor. Okay, I think that was long enough. Anybody have any input on that before I get to the live readings? I very rarely dream, and that's quite all right because I prefer having a very deep, restful sleep. So being refreshed in the morning, which I don't get when dreaming. When I do dream, it's silly. Okay, well, we all dream. So you might not remember them, which is fine, but you're still receiving downloads. Okay, because if you didn't dream, you wouldn't be alive. Okay, and that's the thing. I think I wish I had like the studies to pull up, but there's been plenty of doctors that said you can't live and not dream, like you would be dead. So you are just not remembering your dreams, but you might want to take advantage of seeing the state that you wake up in, Lorraine. So you might, when you wake up, say if you feel different, pay attention to how you feel. There's a message behind that. So you can still get the message from your dreams if you're not recollecting them in your physical mind, that you can still feel what you've experienced while you're asleep, and you can still pull that data. And a lot of times, if you are living in flow, you wouldn't necessarily have to remember your dreams so much. I know for me, when I'm in flow, I don't really remember my dreams. And so when I'm kind of in a juxtaposition in my life, the dreams are very vivid. If I'm trying to embark a new journey and there's a lot of information, they're vivid. So, but usually if you're in flow, you wouldn't necessarily remember your dreams so much, but you can still extract the messages based on how you feel when you wake up. Okay. That's very, very useful too, I find. Alibaba says, my dreams are long stories. Only sometimes I can decipher the symbolism. That's okay. Then it's not a symbolic dream. Like, not every dream is a symbolic dream. A lot of dreams, I should probably keep that on the screen. A lot of dreams are, again, about the emotion of things that you're getting from them. And again, like if you're feeling a sense of loss after a dream, you just feel like a sense of loss. Maybe you have to, maybe you still have some loss lingering around in your subconscious that you have to overcome. And maybe there's still a sense of loss loss that you've been carrying with you that you haven't really realized it's there until this dream has kind of brought it to light. It's like, gosh, I feel loss. I feel sadness. And am I losing in my life? Have I not gotten over loss in my life? And so, I mean, and again, look at the undertone of a lot of these dreams, because not every dream is going to be symbolic. Symbolic is you trying to understand how to use your intuition. And for you specifically, Ali, I think that you're in that phase where you have to decipher your intuition. And I would say the polls and the information that you're receiving from the intuitive side of things for your waking state, especially if you want to get into a light working position, that will be something that you'll have to decipher, is that interpreting of symbology. So if you get some of those, great, but not all of them will be, but the others will tell you about the emotional undertones that you have been carrying for a while. So again, it's just a subconscious coming to life. And that's a blessing for me, that I can get what's unconscious to me into my conscious mind, so I can do what I need to do with it, like we were saying in the collective read. So Celeste says, my dreams are typically all over the place, very detailed, very difficult to decipher, wake up tired. I journal them to remember, otherwise they'd be gone. Well, I think it says a lot. There's a lot going on in your dreams, and then you feel very tired. So I think you might be doing a lot in your waking state that's making you very tired. You might be doing too much that's making you tired. And so you're probably doing it in the dream state too. All right. Let's get to these live readings, shall we? And see who's on board. There's not many today. Let me bring this closer. So if you want to get them in, get them in. But I am going to shut things down about 7:15. I will close. Okay. We have Rashida. Okay, let's get Rashida and we'll get you on a live. All right, Rashida, I'm going to give you the link. So in your Venmo, let's comment on that. I have to do this. Sorry, guys. I have to switch. So in the Venmo, or in the Venmo comment section, I'm going to write the comment. Click on that link. You know, you've done it before. You've been there, done that. So, and we'll let you on, get you in. I have to use headphones this time. The last time we had a massive echo. So, so you have to see me with some cans on my head, on my bald head. And we'll wait for you to come on, Rashida. Let's see if there's a card pull here before, and we'll get that in for time's sake. Okay. And this is, we'll just answer Sydney's question now. Sydney says, I've been waking up for months at 3 a.m. Is this a guy that's trying to reach me, the witching hour, or something health related or anything else? Thank you. Let me see here about the 3 a.m. because there's so many different variables in that hour. It's your guides. Rashida, I would put it in the chat. If you absolutely need to, then I would. But the last time someone was spamming it last time trying to call in. So, if you can do it in Venmo, yes. If not, I can put it in the chat. I just have to make sure that nobody will spam it like the last time. So let me know if you absolutely can't, and we'll do it in the chat. But yeah, Sydney, it's your guides again. And I think we said the last time when we chatted that your dad came through, and I think that a lot of that is continuing because, I don't think you're getting the message either with that. Like what is happening at that time when you're getting these realizations. And a lot of times inspirations are trying to be delivered to you as well. So I definitely would, I was gonna say you should get out a journal. You just said, so I need to get up and journal. I would definitely journal, but I would definitely kind of meditate in the stance and maybe wake you up and get in a meditative state and allow the continuation of the message to be received, especially from spirit. You're more in that, you're more in that mental awareness of being able to understand that. So yes, I would journal. I would allow yourself to definitely get yourself on board. It's kind of in that meditative state as it's happening, so you can really kind of extract more of that message in the physical state. Because that might be spirit saying, "Hey, wake up! Your brain is in theta state. It's highly receptible right now. Let's get this information in." So yes, I think that'd be very, very important to do that. He did come to me in a dream right after. I mean, of course. Because your dad basically bombarded the session last time, so that makes a lot of sense. But yes, journal, get into meditative state, sit in your bed if you get woken up, and allow the message to be received and process. Because a lot of times there'll be a lot of great inspiration at that time. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can hear you. Can you hear me now? Talk louder.
No, I can definitely hear you.
Okay, good. Because last time there was a lot of echo, so I'm like, my echo cancellation ain't working, so I need these cans. So
There's no echo. There's no echo. At least not that I believe.
because I got these on now, I had to use them. So, what's the question, my love?
Okay. First of all, the pink. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I have not worn this since like last year. So
I love it. We're feeling the pink vibes today, baby.
yes. Okay. So my question is, it's interesting. It goes along with everything, even somewhat with Sydney's question. So my mother actually received a visit and a message from my dad, who is passed on.
Spirit, yep.
And so essentially, she said that the message that she received was actually for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I know that, speaking of scattered, I've been very much scattered. I know it.
What was the message? Did she tell you the message at all?
She did, but here's my question, though. I would like to know what he has to say to me. Like, I want to know what the message is. Like, I so want to. I've been wanting this for years. He passed in 2005.
Yeah.
And
Let me
I just think-
let me see. I don't want you to tell me too much because you know me. I don't like to be
right,
influenced.
that's why I want to say what she told me. But
Yeah, and it's again, it's her interpretation because we're all interpreting the energy, right? So it's her interpretation of it. So, let me see. Let me get your dad in here right now. Why is he so giddy right now? God, your dad's like ready to be present. This giddiness that I get for him is like either he's cleared out some karma, which took him a long time. By the way, I feel like, in his afterlife, I think it took him a long time to clear this karma out. And the giddiness to me is like he understands now, and so he showed me that, like in his physical life, there being like a duality. So either he had a side of him that was, very upfront, but then a side of him that was kind of just really not, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like, which side do I get with your dad when it comes to the physical sense? And I think, he was able to see now in this, it's been some time, but see spiritually, like, why he was running away from himself and relying on this like cold aspect of himself and not really opening up so much as he should be opening up, so I think he's found the balance of this, I feel a desire for him to want to be present more, and to be around more because I feel like he's trying to make up for old time. Not just the time I'm talking about from him passing, even in his living state. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And he's saying that, like, I don't know if this is more figuratively speaking, but he's like, I've been buried in a book too much. His head was buried in a book or in numbers, or he was just looking down so much at other things instead of what was important to him. You know what I'm saying? So it may be reading too much about the news or reading so much about things outside and not so much about what's in his own life. And I think that's where he's saying he could have appreciated that a lot more.
Okay.
Because for me, I feel like your dad is like giving himself shit. I would say, like, I could have been better. 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 Not to say he was bad. I just think he's kind of nitpicking that. He's like, I've evolved. I need to evolve now. Now I want to be present. Now I want to make sure that she understands I am here. Because she's saying you haven't felt him for quite some time. You haven't felt him around for quite some time. Like, where is he? He's even connected. He was doing that karma clearing, and now he's saying I'm here. He wants to be here as a guide. And he's almost like, if you let me. So it's very simple in that sense. But it feels very emotional to me because I feel like, he had regrets, but he amended his regrets. Now he wants to, change that and be present because of what he felt like he's evolved from in a sense. So that's kind of the message. I might be over, exaggerating it a bit because I want to get more specific information on it. But he's like, no, I'm present. I want to make up for lost time is what he's saying.
Okay. How
do you feel about that though?
I'm open to it. I would love it. Yeah, like I'm open.
That's
I'm
what he
open.
says. If you have me, because it's like almost like he's asking you, not telling you. He's
Right,
asking
right.
you. You know, but again, I just get a lot of regret in his physical life. You know what I'm saying? And so just
Yeah,
maybe not being hands on, not being nurturing enough in a sense. You know, again, having that two side. I don't know if it's two life or double life, but it's more of a double side is what I feel on this. You know, and so and that's where he's trying to like make up, and he had to clear a lot of that out. And I think he's saying there was a lot of either resentment with him around, you know, from your mom and him, so a lot of resentment for some time, and I think that he was also waiting for that to clear up a little bit too, if that makes sense.
it does. Yeah,
You know,
there was a lot more with their relationship than it was with ours. But and he he there were kind of two worlds in essence at one point. You know, like he left to go, or I shouldn't say he left. My mom left, but he went to start another family, so to speak. And we were just kind of left to
like
fend for
this.
ourselves.
He's saying like you felt discarded, is what he's saying. You know what I'm saying?
Very,
And
very
so
much so.
and that's kind of that duality that he kept saying to me
Yeah,
before, right? And
yeah,
so and allowing that to resentment to like at least diminish, because even though like it was more your mom, like you're on your mom's side. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna carry that too. And so
yeah.
I think your dad's saying the message wasn't just for you. Your mom just didn't want to deal with him.
Right, right.
Your
Yeah.
mom's like, because he was trying to like he's saying your mother's not ready to forgive him. Still, she still
Which
holds
is
on to it.
interesting. Yeah, no, and I understand why. I'm actually, I feel like I've learned to love him even more since his transitioning. You know, like
Because
for
you're
the
in
man that
tune.
he was. I'm sorry.
Because you're in tune. Like you're
Right.
in tune to spirit.
Yeah, yeah. And I've just missed him, basically.
Yeah.
I just missed him. I don't care about all this stuff that they went through, that I went through, that you know, or the time that I didn't have with him, that when he was here physically. Yeah, I don't care so
But
much about that.
that's exactly what he wants to make up for, and that makes sense why he's saying
Right.
that. And so he wants to
Yeah.
be around, you know. And you have a sister, right?
Yes.
Because he's been trying to. I think he's been like he's showing me like connecting with your sister too. Um, she's not as resistant. She might have an experience with your dad soon. I'll say this. Because
Okay.
I feel compared to you, she seems more closed off, like almost like I hate the guy, right? But I feel like there might be some openings to this where you know he might start coming up to her too. I think he's trying to make
Yeah.
his rounds now. I think you're going to start seeing. Yeah, I had a dream about my dad, like about dad. Like she might come out tomorrow or next day or so and have a dream with him. So look
Yeah.
out for that because I think he's going to be making his rounds. She feels more like she is. Like I hate him. I don't care. I moved on. Like I feel that energy with your dad, but I feel like she
Yeah.
would also be open to kind of mending that too. So your sister, you know, kind of gives me that, you know, I hate him, but I'll be open to mending things too. I don't know. I get both of that with her on that, but I feel like she might, and maybe the dream with him might get her in that juxtaposition of like, I don't know, I don't like that he kind of discarded us, but then at the same time, but I also need to heal it. I get it. So she might have some confusion when he comes to her and visits her in a dream state. So he's definitely trying to make his rounds.
Yeah.
You know,
No, and that even makes a lot of sense too, because she had way more negative experiences, many more negative experiences with him than I did. I had a few, but I didn't have nearly as many as what she
I mean,
did. So,
yeah, that makes sense too. Because I mean, I just sense she has more of that like I hate him energy, and she's discard. I get that, but he's like blessing her marriage or something. Because he showed me a wedding ring or something. So I don't know. Is she getting married soon, or do you know she might be getting married at some point? Are you sure?
no, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
What? I don't know. He showed me a wedding ring. So and blessing it like a engagement. So I'm not saying right away, but I'm saying that it might come soon. So keep me posted about that because he said
That would
blessing.
be a miracle.
Well, I mean, look, people change, right? And so, how did you watch my last video that I posted, things psychics deal with the woman who said, I would never be insurance. Have you watched that? I hear this all the time. That would never happen. But yeah, there's a marriage with her, or at least a relationship that might come about,
I hope so. I really do. I hope so.
Because
That would be great.
let me explain to you why. Because I don't want to be too long-winded about that, though. But I want to explain why. Because I feel like the whole situation with her father has closed her off to relationships, and so I think that once she's allowed herself to heal from this, she'll be more open to different relationships and better relationships.
Okay.
So like she's protecting herself in a sense, So and if there's someone there, that probably might fizzle out. I don't know. I just feel like a new relationship at some point. And again, it might take a year or two, but I'm just saying for her, new.
Right.
I don't mean
Okay.
tomorrow. I mean, she's getting married tomorrow. I mean, like he's just shown that she has a marriage life ahead of her that he's blessing, or at least trying to get her to do. And same thing with you. I mean, both. I think the message is for both of you guys too. But I think your dad wants to say he feels responsible for her, how she's interacting with relationships in a sense. Like it's his
Okay.
fault. Like he's probably deprived her of better relationships because of how he's handled her in a sense. I mean, I think you think about that logically. What she's experienced has definitely subconsciously, stinted her for relationships. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I understand.
And so Spirit takes that a lot more seriously. But what questions do you have for me? I know that was kind of like random, but any other questions that you have for me in a sense?
So yes, actually, let's go with the dreams because I definitely had one. Um, I think that was like a week and a half ago. Um, it was probably my shadow side speaking with me, but I'm just wondering if you can tap into that dream that scared the shit out of me.
Let me see if I can get the actual download of that
Okay.
without you having to tell me the dream. Because I might have you tell me it so I can explain what that represents. Because the energy for me might be different than what you're processing it to be. So your imagery might be different from mine. So I want to make sure it clicks. So I'll help interpret the dream. So just let me know what the dream was. This will be better assistance, I feel like, than just because I could psychically tap the dream and say this, but I feel like it's going to be not connecting without letting you know the symbology you received and how you interpret it.
Okay. Okay. So essentially it was like I was in bed and I was in the same space that I am in typically when I'm in bed. And I'm lying down and I am facing the hallway. And at the end of the hall, there is a figure that kind of comes from the side of the corner at the end of the hall. And it's a tall, dark figure that has glowing eyes and a glowing mouth. And that is, it's a humanish, figure.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but yeah. And it basically, it starts to, obviously it freaks me out or whatever, but it comes towards me, towards the room. I get out of bed, I go towards it. And then next thing you know, we're duking it out. And I woke up after that. I woke up right after that, and my heart was pounding harder than I had ever experienced in my life.
This is there's 2 points to this too, because I don't know if this is it's not gonna resonate with you right now, but in time it will. And especially the other stuff I was saying before is gonna be clearer for you about your dad. I feel like that was your dad. And before I tapped into that dream, I'm like, I feel like it was a visitation from dad, just not knowing before the dream was. I'm like, but I don't know, it's not gonna make sense to her. So a lot of this is, one, you're actually see something you don't understand, and so you're just being defensive, and so whatever, you have that kind of duking in that sense. It wasn't actually a shadow version of you. That's not what it was. It's almost like your dad is like manifestation is coming to light, like he's coming out of the darkness is kind of what it really means. And I think that there's still a lot of maybe things you have to resolve with him in a sense, even though I feel like you've come to terms with it, there's still things that you have to resolve with him subconsciously. So I think that's kind of a lot of that's coming to light too. But I still stand by my initial, intuition is that it was initially, it's your dad was a visitation of your dad, him coming out of the shadows. We interpret the foreign things of unknown in different ways. It's your brain interpretation. It's a dark figure, the glowing eye, all that stuff. And so that's how we're interpreting that, because it's a mystery to us, unknown. But I think that if it wasn't so random that way, I think that you would have probably saw your dad is coming out of the shot. Your dad's come towards you. You would have understood the energy. But it's also a reflection too that there's still some unresolved. Even though you might have forgiven and move on, a lot of people forgive and move on, but there's still like a subconscious residue, like we were saying in the beginning, the collective read that lingers. Make sure there's nothing lingering. Okay.
Right.
But I don't feel it's a shadow thing. I was like diving deep while you're saying, like, no, it doesn't feel like a shadow thing. It doesn't feel like a person, the physical form. It doesn't feel like a negative entity coming towards you. It's none of that. It still resonates with dad coming out of the shadows, so to speak. And just bringing some unresolved to a resolve. And I don't think that he really could understood how to present his being anyways, too, because it's new to him coming out of these shadows in a sense. So I don't think he really understand how to present his being, and your interpretation just kind of, it rendered that way. And that's a lot of times when we're in a certain state, we can perceive something completely differently than what they're projecting. That's in the spiritual sense. So to me, it feels just like your dad coming out of the shadows and making visitation for you.
Okay.
That's gonna make more sense. Again, he showed me a symbol of a key. So you might have another dream. Maybe he'll appear the same way, but he'll have a key to show you in that next dream that it's him. So keep me posted on that too, because he's saying he might appear like that again, but he'll have a key on him or with him or something like that to show that we talked about this. You have another visitation, then he has the key, so you understand, okay, and then you can communicate with him in a different way and let him kind of approach you more head on through the dream space, because it's a lot easier for him to do so in the dream space right now.
Okay.
It's like I said before about dreams, spirit can communicate. There's least resistance when we're sleeping, so they don't have to lower their frequency so much. We're already kind of in a higher frequency to begin with in the dream state, so it's an easy channel for spirit.
Right. Okay.
All right. Anything else? There's a lot of these things that you got to kind of marinate on too, and especially how your dad might be presenting it to me. Like especially your sister maybe starting a relationship. You might have a quick engagement at some point too. And he's saying, you too, Rashida, you know what your timing is. So I just think he's so foreign for your sister to go in that direction that I think he's kind of going to help bless her with the relationship at some point too. I think that's the whole message there, because I feel like he feels like his subconscious residue that he's laid with your sister has been a block for her in her relationships. So he kind of wants to help to remove that too as he's coming around now.
Okay.
All right. Your dad is not specific for me. He's very symbolic and emotional right now because he doesn't know how to really kind of lower enough to be that clear. So you're going to get symbology with him. You're very intuitive, so you'll get it. You just need to pause to get it, to receive that with him. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very emotional. You're going to get more of a feeling sensation with him, not so much direct.
Sense. He's a very true Pisces, so that makes total sense.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, that's why I don't have many Pisces friends. Gotcha. I'm kidding to the Pisces in the room. But yeah, but that'll the more you consort with him, the clearer he will become.
Right. Okay.
That's true for any spirit that had any type of like reservations in their physical life.
Right. Okay.
All right. Well, good to see you as always. Keep me posted on those things that were kind of, like in the air. I'm curious to hear about that, especially the second dream and stuff that he'll come in and, again, reach out to me. We can help you interpret that too. But to me, that was just him trying to connect with you and reach out to you in that dream.
For sure. Yeah. No, I will. I will definitely.
I know. All of us.
So,
yeah.
Yes. And everyone too. I try to slip it in here and there in the chats, but whether people pick up on it or not, I don't know.
They do.
I do.
I see them pick up on it. They do.
Okay.
All right, my love. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you so much.
Love
too.
you.
Thank you. Love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao. Yeah, see, that was a great example too of spirit coming through, like trying to make connection, but like it's interpreted differently. And so in Rashida's case, it came up as like a shadow entity with glowing eyes. And so that's them trying to manifest themselves. But again, they haven't had any much spiritual communication. I can take these off now. Much spiritual communication in some time that's how they're going to show up and present themselves. So the more we kind of like are curious to be loud, that connection come forth, they'll probably present themselves more clearly. Remember, it's about connecting that energy. It's about kind of being more precise and aligned with that energy so things be clearer. Just like a walkie-talkie in a sense, So moving on to the next. And that's the thing too. When you guys book a mediumship session, make sure you guys have activated some sort of connection first, so they can be clear. So a lot of times these spirits lay dormant, and then when we wake them up, they're like, they're groggy, and they come, and then we have to be like extracting all the specifics from them. But no one's channeled them, no one's kept them in their minds, no one's kept them active, and so their spirit lays dormant. And so we want to make sure we don't do that, and we can, before we get a mediumship session, activate them, bring their memories out. And there's a lot of people who are smart like that. They bring a picture out, they bring their energy, they connect with them before, they ask them to come through. It wakes them up, because if I have to wake them up, it might take time for them to like get clear in the reception. It's good to know and that's why I try to do a lot of education about the spirituality and connecting with spirit, so people understand. And this way they don't go to a medium and they haven't done any connection, and they wonder why the medium struggles a little bit. It's because we got to wake them up for you. So okay, this is card pull for Ali. Let's get the cards going on here. Let's see. I'm curious to see too, Rashida, how Dad becomes more clearer, right? And not that he's symbolic with me. He's just very like a matter of fact. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't like a matter of fact people. Rashida, I don't like matter of fact type of people. But your dad's very matter of fact, so not the best person for mediumship. But I get what he's conveying, and I think it's a beginning of a connection with him. It's a beginning for you to get that connection established. And that wedding ring, that's so interesting too. Sorry, I'm still shuffling for Ali, but I'm still thinking about some of the things. He kept showing me like image. He kept showing me imageries of things too. All right, we got this one card. Just shuffling here. Interesting. This is Ali Fitzwilliam. Wheel of Fortune got pulled for you, and that means it's a new cycle. Two of Swords. 10 of Swords. 5 of Pentacles. I'm explaining what that means to you. I'm just showing them, because I don't usually, because I'm not a tarot reader. I just use tarot for these situations to help me, guide me on where to read. So clearly there's this, you're in a paradigm flux. And I always say with the 5 of Pentacles, it always comes up in the career environment for me. And so they're saying that, I don't want to say piss off, get off the pot, right? Energetically. But they're saying you're caught between two options here in a sense, and it's kind of struggling between two choices. And they're saying, don't let that defeat you. Don't let the fact you have a choice to make, don't let that defeat you. Don't let that you feel like, oh, I'm defeated. Understand these two things, these options in your life, either what you're doing now and what you wanted to be doing in the future, they're both great options. And they're part of a sign of growth and growing into something new. So get out of the way mentally speaking. Prepare for the next chapter. Prepare for the next avenue. Prepare for the next option. Get yourself on board. It's kind of like what I was saying with the collective read, about allowing yourself to get the intellect, the information, the studies that you need to be doing in order to get that dream realized. So get active, because they're saying that you're just letting your mentality about this defeat you. And again, you're seeing the cards, even the imagery, Wheel of Fortune card, new cycle, wheel, right? I mean, the cards can be specific. I'm not making this up. And the two choices, 2 of Swords, right? And being defeated, you can see the imagery very clear, right? So don't let that defeat you. You have the skill sets and talents to do what you need to move forward. And so allow yourself to take those micro steps of getting that done. I don't know if this is a repetition. It feels repetitive to me. Maybe we've had this card pulled before. But they're saying like it really is a mentality right now of getting the intellect that you need to get that dream realized. And clearly the message is an indicative that your dream is going to be manifest. That's the clear dream here, is that, and look at the 10 of Cups. I love the 10 of Cups in this case. It's very much about happiness and fulfillment. So, and again with the 2 of Wands, the two choices, in between the two. But be thankful you have something to anchor yourself down in the physical sense and ground yourself as you're launching something new. And quite frankly, it's not like you're starting something new. It's just kind of an expansion. It's a building block here, you know? And once you realize that, you're going to be launched forward. Six of Wands, you can tell with the imagery, which is why I show it. The Six of Wands is launching you forward, pushing you forward. So, I think that's wonderful. I think that, you know, again, it's just you're in that phase of I'm getting it done to get there. I'm getting things done so I can get there. That's the whole point of this process. And feeling fragmented and starting this new cycle so you can actually start getting the dream realized in the physical sense, doing the physical hustle in a sense, you know? And so that's what they want to confirm, because I love that I'm gonna make sure I can put this on the screen so people can see. I love that when, you know, the Ten of Cups and the Six of Wands came here in the conclusion saying that's where your completion, that's where you're going to be pushed forward, that's where things are going to happen for you, that's where you're going to feel like you're flying high in a sense, you know, figuratively speaking. And also, you know, the Ten of Cups all about happiness and excitement and enjoyment and things working in harmony. And so that's the beauty here about this situation. No, Ali, it's for Alibaba, for Ali Fitzwilliam. And so I think that's a great thing, a great confirmation. So, you know, what you're doing now is preparing for that. You're actually allowing the alignment to happen right now. You're becoming aligned to it. You are aligned with it. Actually, not becoming, you are. So give it its time and understand that dream is going to come to fruition. And you will know when it's time, because you'll be confident in it. Because I always say confidence is just a result of how comfortable you are at something. So you'll be very comfortable with doing the new work and comfortable with, you know, doing this new endeavor, that you'll have the confidence and you'll get it started. So clearly your guides are pushing you forward too. And, you know, if your guides are not pushing you forward, then again, there would be nothing in the future if they weren't doing it. So they're pushing you forward. There's something to push you toward. So, and this again, Eight of Wands. Again, could you get any more cards about success in the endeavor? So much success in the new endeavor, they're saying. So much drive in that point, you know? So again, I think that's wonderful, and I think that's where you should continue going. So I would say those cards are, to me, confirmations that you're doing the right thing right now. It's not like they're saying, oh, you're focusing on this, and you know, and so those cards are confirmations that you started on the new track intellectually and energetically, because cards of the 10, especially the 10 of Cups or even the 8 of Wands, those wouldn't show up if you were not in the right position. They wouldn't show up. So the fact they're showing up means like what you're doing now, keep doing that. It's launching you. Okay, that's a good read. It's good. It's a good confirmation read. I feel like, you know. Okay, we have Jai Gruel. Jai says, "Hi, I have a day job in finance, but I also manage wealth for family. But I want to know if going to grad school would be worth it, or do you see path not requiring that? And if you could read the energy on the next few years." We'll look at that one specific. I don't want to say, I don't want to answer the question of whether or not something will be worth it or not, because that's something that's in your hands, whether that's to be worth it or not. I would say it's not required. But again, because I think that an experience you have, and I feel like I've read you before in a question. I think I predicted you were in finance or something without you telling me, and then now I see it, you're in finance. Okay. So I think I'm kind of remembering a past pull for you. They're just saying it's not that it would not be worth it or not worth it. It may not be required for you, but they're just saying you have to focus on the importance of their direction and what you need to establish your overall end result. So it's more of an intellectual nudge for you in that sense. And so the fact if you have a question about this aspect means that maybe you're not really so sold on your end result, your end goal, because then you know for sure I need this or I don't need this. So they're saying depending on your end result, if I were to read your end result, it wouldn't necessarily be necessary to go to grad school, but I don't want to deter you from doing so, because I know a lot of people become successful in finances that don't have degrees, but you know, or their bachelors, or in that sense. What was the second half of this question? Oh, grad school, right? And then about if you see it for the next few years, okay. So again, make your decision on that whether or not be worth it. I know people have not, they're successful without the schooling, but that's not to say that's your path or not path. I have to just kind of guide you in a sense of saying, what's your end goal and does it match? It wouldn't necessarily be required, but that's on you to make the decision if you want to go or not. I always felt you'd be successful in the financial arena, especially as an entrepreneur. They give me very much an entrepreneurial type of energy with you. So in a sense, if you want to sell yourself your credibility, that's fine. But I think you could still start that entrepreneurial energy. And in the future, they're showing like you kind of managing or dealing with multiple businesses. So I think again, if you already have the ability to understand the structure of business and finance in that sense, maybe get yourself started for a little bit, and maybe give you a year and find out in a year if you would actually need grad school at that point. And so I think again that would kind of be your mentor at work. I mean, they would say that. And again, I think any mentor would always encourage education. I'm all for on education, but again, it's not the only path either, unless you figured out the goal that you want. So again, I'm seeing you managing different businesses in the future. And so ask yourself if that's in alignment or if you can pull from that. Again, I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm saying it's not required, but it depends on your end goal. But in the next couple of years, I think that you'll be starting to become more of that entrepreneurial energy. And maybe, kind of working with your first business in a sense, or 'cause I see multiple business that you'll be dealing with in a sense, and connect with different communities and resources that will help you to kind of expand that too, and having that community in finance and business in a sense. So I think it's going to evolve a lot more. So I think it's not just going to be finance, it'll be actually business. You know what I'm saying? And managing different businesses and so forth. So, and if you have that business sense and you want more of that, then maybe if you go to school for that, great. But if you already have that, maybe start first with getting your hands on, and eventually later on you could go to grad school. So it really depends on that. So that's something that's more of a strategic question. But that's kind of my read on based where you're at. But I feel like either way, you're going to get there and deal with multiple businesses and that very entrepreneurial energy. What do you say? Yes, makes sense, Scott. For what I do on the side, I do expect it to get big. I don't think grad school would add value. Right. Like I said, not required. I don't want to say deter from saying worth it or value, because everything can be valuable and everything can be very much worth something. Every additional knowledge could be very valuable to a certain degree. So I never want to deter from expanding your knowledge and wisdom on things. It just depends if it's an alignment to the end result, the end goal. Because your knowledge might be to start a business and to get your hands on a business and learn that evolution of such in the business sense. That might be a great learning curve for you that would match the end result. That's kind of what I'm trying to pose to you. So there really isn't a right or wrong on this. It's based on which direction do you believe in the most, and that where your intuition may lie. I think that your mentor is correct in that environment that he's talking about. In that environment, perhaps that might be great. And so, but again, that's on you to decide in a sense of which direction to go. Because I feel like you're kind of in two directions and two different, again, I'm here, but I also can go here. So really look at the bigger picture in a sense of where you want to gravitate toward the most. Because at some point, you might take a year to get your hands on, like I said before, and then realize in a year, maybe you'll need that education. Or maybe you establish yourself so well with the business aspect of things that things have actually, manifested well and you've learned so much there. So maybe give it a year in a sense, or 6 months to be hands-on with something first before you make a decision either way. That would be my kind of advice on that, if that helps. So that's kind of like in the next couple of years I'm sensing is getting that to realization. I'm seeing kind of you building this entrepreneurial business aspect, well. Okay. When I see finance, I don't see you're behind a computer doing accounting and like that. I see you being in finance of working with the finances of a business and managing a business in that sense, and you say, I'm trying to be intuitive with it, but sometimes that gets clouded with advice I'm getting. Yes. And again, not every mentor and advice can match yours. Right? Everyone can suggest so many different things. That's why I'm having you look at the big picture for yourself and what's in alignment to the bigger picture, and allowing yourself to maybe be more rational of the fact that getting your hands on for a little bit before you decide a yay or a nay, and give yourself a buffer period of time to decide first. Like, maybe I won't go right away, but I'll see how this evolves with the business side of things. And if it gets far, great. If it doesn't, maybe then I'll decide to go to grad school then. So give yourself a buffer period. We can realize that too. But you always have to follow your intuition. I've had so many people in my day tell me to do so many different things that were just not part of my path at all. And even if I considered to take them, it wouldn't be part of my path. And they're carrying and trying to direct you in what they think is good. So I think your mentor is coming from their perspective and their environment, right? They're not looking at the bigger picture of you and what you're doing additionally, right? So I definitely don't want you to discount that information. Just hold on to it. Give yourself a buffered period of time on that and start getting more hands-on with the business side of things and see how that evolves. And you can decide there whether or not to go to grad school or not. And if it's worth it. Many entrepreneurs make it big, quick, right? And they don't finish their schooling. They just realize their business side of things has really kind of evolved greatly, So I mean, either way, big future ahead of you, dude. Either way, great future ahead. A very, very financially stable future ahead of you, and very consistent too. Very secured, financial future for you and career future for you. It's very secured, very stable. And longevity is very much attached to that as well. Okay, next question is for Celeste. Just found today the house I'm renting a room at is going to be sold. Do I keep focusing on manifesting the studio on North Street to move, or will other options be coming available to me? Let me see about this move. A lot of moves happening this year, guys. Just saying, a lot of moves happening. Why? It's the month of movement. The year of movement. And there's a lot of moves happening this summer too, which I see a lot of people moving. Let me see about this here. Let me see this. Over 2 months ago, I had a card pull. Scott said I'll be going on a much needed vacation in mid-April, and that time it wasn't a thought to plan a vacation. Now I'm packing to go away soon. Amazing. Good, you need it. That's the most important thing, is that you need it, my love. Thanks, man. That's wonderful. I appreciate you. That means a lot. I'm very humbled by that. Thank you, Jai. All right, Celeste, move. They're saying specifically to keep your options open. I hate saying this, but I would get over the manifestation thing. I'm trying to manifest this apartment, like manifest a specific apartment. Get in the mindset of finding the best. Where's this leading you next? Where's your living circumstances leading you next? And I think that's where you're going to find something that might be a little better, more suited for you. So they're just saying that it's going to come along. They're saying you have more time. Like, it's not like, I don't feel like you're being forced out in a month. Like, I don't feel that. I feel like you might have a couple months, 2-3 months. So I feel like you do have either a more comfortable amount of time on this. So I don't feel like it's like such a necessary urge or urgent in that sense. So you can correct me if I'm wrong. But they're saying there's something better than this one specific location that you're imagining. And I think that just be more open to that in a sense, so. And it's funny, you might open up to something new, and then like all of a sudden that studio does become something. But they're saying there's something else. There's something else around. And again, it feels like you don't have to rush on this. You might have a couple months or a couple extra months on this. Or if it is a month, they might have a delay where you can have another month. So I think there's flexibility on time on this. But we're saying there's something else coming your way. I feel like by June, you'll know. I feel like by June, mid-June, they're showing like June 15th. Is where they're showing to me, like, where I feel like you're going to, know. Either you have the place and you prepare to move in June 15th, or you already moved in by June 15th. I can't tell either way. I'm just seeing connecting with that. So you either know June 15th, or you'll be moving in it June 15th. And so I think that it would happen probably before you need to go. It'll happen. So say if they like, oh, you got to leave by July, then you'll be out by June, So I feel like it's at a perfect timing for you. Okay, and this is a perfect timing to end. Actually, I think I have some PayPal questions here. Bear with me a second. We have DeAndre. DeAndre's question is, I dreamed that I was striving for something called the Final Revenge, and the logo for it was a line illustration of a diamond ring to look to the right, a hot pink peacock feather right next to it. It was a sign, and I wanted to go there. What does this dream mean? Let me see. You know, for me, and I'm trying to get the final revenge out of the picture. To me, it feels like, you know, letting go of a relationship that was an illusionary to you. Either it was a relationship or a marriage that went wrong, or a relationship or marriage, I'm saying the same thing twice. Either it was a relationship that alluded you to marriage, but there was like a false illusionary of this sense. And so I feel like it's kind of coming to terms with that. And the final revenge is not so much that final revenge. It's kind of like the final say, in a sense of, I'm letting this go. Where this past relationship subconscious been affecting you that alluded to, could have been marriage, or you know, maybe it was a marriage that ended up being like an imposter in a sense. Because to me, the peacock energy to me reads like an illusion. You know, there's something beyond the curtain, and the pink aspect is like flashy. So someone's presenting something, and this revenge is like, I'm getting back at something. There's a disappointment of being deprived of something. So for me, I feel like it's, and psychically feels like it's a relationship that you need to come to terms with that was an imposter or brought an illusion or disappointment. And not that you're trying to carry revenge, but maybe understanding that whatever they've done, karma comes around, that you don't have to be, you can let go of it in a sense. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a very well-connected relationship, because, you know, a ring can symbolize, you know, commitment and loyalty in a sense. But I feel with the peacock and the hot pink, it's like illusionary, and it was very flashy and less of the actual commitment in a sense. So, and that could also be a symbolic expression of just maybe how you feel about relationships in general too. Being deceived in a relationship in a sense. So it's really clearing that out, and actually understanding that, you know, whatever you've been deceived by in relationships, or whatever has been such deceptive or an imposter energy, that you don't necessarily have to fight back on it. Okay? That you can actually let it go and allow the karma to pick up on someone. And that is the revenge that you have. And allowing yourself to move on from that, not harboring that any longer. That's what that dream reads to me on that. And I love the peacock feathers, peacock energy, but for some reason, like in this dream, the peacock energy and the feather just represents like an imposter, like an alluring energy in a sense. But I think what you want to go there is like, you want to address it. You want to put it to, you want to finalize this. Okay. So that's how I read that on this. Hope that makes sense. Was there another question? Because I think there was more interpretation anyways. And let me see if there's anything else with that. No, that's all I get with that. Yeah, that's what it feels to me. I think this will be a major breakthrough for relationships too in your life. Not just romantic, but also overall relationships. You know. I hope that helps. Last but not least is Amanda Holt. 1, please clarify whether I should do anything to resolve disconnect with my brother and sister, and what truth you feel behind this. This is kind of long for 2 questions here. It's kind of like, there's like kind of 4 questions in the 2 questions here. Because I have to, mediumship is not good in the question section, but all right, this is more like this. These are questions that require like a full read. They're kind of like, so I'm kind of going to simplify the questions. Like there's like 5 questions in one, in a sense. So I only have a few minutes. But let me just scan. The first question is to resolve your brother and sister. God, that energy, the brother and sister energy. No, don't apologize. It's just me trying to decipher where to go with it. Go like, where do I go on this? And so don't apologize. You're fine. I think you're trying to be clear, Amanda, but it's like, to me, it's like 4 questions, but you're trying to be clear. I get it. So don't feel sorry. Please don't feel sorry. Okay. You know, it's funny because I'm trying to separate your brother and sister like as different people. I'm trying to separate them and like as if, oh, they have different minds and they don't feel the same way. But they have the same energy. I don't know why they feel. I don't know why I keep feeling like they're trying to outcast you in a sense. Now I could be saying that's how you feel, but I feel like that's what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, keeping away from that dynamic is just smart right now. And I think that your dad is coming in with this question too. So it's going to blend. I love you just said that too, Amanda. It's going to just kind of come because I think your dad's chiming in with this too. We brother and sister. I think because I say, well, Dad, why is the brother and sister energy trying to outcast, Amanda? What is this push against? And they're saying that, they like to kind of do the tag teaming thing, your brother and sister. And I think that, some people just like to be malicious. Your dad says they've always been kind of bratty and, you've kind of, I don't want to say you've been the goody two-shoe in a sense, but you kind of always done things correctly. And I think your brother and sister don't measure up to that. So they kind of think that you're like a goody two-shoe in a sense, or, think you're virtuous and self-righteous. They think that. So they would like to kind of knock you down in a sense. And so your dad's saying that, they've always been kind of bratty like that. And so you always have to take the high road with them. And that also means taking the high road means that you don't associate with them any longer, or at least not engage fully with them, because they're always going to continue this pattern of like knocking you off or knocking you down. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just their insecurity of not measuring up in a sense, so there's a lot of deep emotions here with them. And so, your dad's saying he never he just allowed the kids to be the kids. He's saying he should have stood up with the dynamic with you guys, with the kids. It's like, I should have stood up. I should have said something. He just felt like he just would let the kids, duke it out for themselves type of ordeal. And he's saying like, I should have kind of said something. I should have say, hey, that's not right. Like, he's just saying he never spoke up enough as much as he just should have spoken up to make a difference. And so I think that, I think that your dad's also saying to you, like, he understands how you feel. And he says, you should take the high road that in trying to connect with them is just going to render the same results consistently. And not that you have to be cold to them, we just want to release the stress of that. Because I do feel like they're kind of been ganging up on you. When people talk about brother and sister, I, in my mind, don't want to take it as if how you're reading it. I want to read it objectively and say, well, the brother could have a different approach and the sister could have a different approach. In this case, they both have the same approach. So your dad's kind of apologizing for saying that, I'm sorry that I didn't kind of intervene when I could have, when you guys are growing up and younger, when he was noticing the brattiness between, you guys. Why do I think your brother is kind of, I don't know why your brother feels like he's from a different parent, but I know that's not true. But there's something about your brother not fitting in too. I don't know why I'm getting this. I don't know. There's something weird about this. I don't know if there's speculation about your brother not being, part of your mom or something like this, or your brother has a different, parent. I don't know. But he's showing like a disconnection, like pulling your brother out of you, the two sisters, like being different or set apart. I don't know what that's coming from. That might make sense later on, what that means. I mean, that's kind of a strong claim, saying like, oh, your brother might have a different parent. It's a very strong claim. But I think that, either way, your dad's condoning your behavior of staying away. Yeah, all the same blood, but there's something with your brother he's picking out of that. I don't know why, like not relating or something that way. I don't know. Maybe that'll make sense to you later on. I would need like a full read to kind of dive in, but like this format, I'm probably not getting so clarity on that. Just I would say consider after this talking, I wouldn't call it a session, that your dad is kind of taking your brother out. You know what I'm saying? Of the equation, in a sense of not fitting in for whatever reason. Okay? And I don't know, maybe he isn't the same blood. Even maybe there's some mixture that we don't know about. I don't know. But we'll just keep that. We'll keep that in the gray zone because I really don't know. And so that's kind of the direction your dad's saying with your family. Susie. You know what? Maybe your dad's saying this. Maybe your dad's trying to say your brother is the one that's keeping the separation between you and your sister. That your sister is following him. Maybe that's what your dad's trying to say. Maybe your brother's the one that's kind of, keeping your sister away, and your brother's going initiating this stuff. He's the ringleader in the sense, because maybe without your brother's influence, you and your sister would be connecting right now. Maybe your dad's trying to say that. You know what I'm saying? That could be what he's trying to say, like not relating in a sense. So remember all that. Try to fit that together afterwards. Because I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know what he's trying to say with that. It's kind of vague, general. What is Susie saying? Susie's mentioning a book. I'm trying to see if she's saying to write that book, or did you write something for Susie? Susie's trying to connect with a book or writing in a sense. I don't know if she wrote something you found it, or you need to write something. Susie's trying to say something about this. Wait, my mom thinks it's my brother's wife. Okay, well then, I don't know. That's a whole lot of different stuff going on there, Amanda. Who knows? Well, maybe... I feel so bad. Okay, yeah, because she wants to reference this book thing situation. I don't know, because I don't know. And it's keeping up with that. And she's connecting you and her to that, whatever the case is. And continue with it was the energy I got. So if it's that... then she's working with you on this to establish more of this. I feel like Susie is kind of a mentor for you right now, or a guide. I feel she has a teaching energy. Like she's got Susie's got some sort of teacher energy behind her, and she still is coming this way in a mentoring energy. Not to say that she was a teacher in real life. I'm just saying she has an energy of someone who likes to teach and likes to mentor and encourage. So I definitely feel like she'd be doing so now as a guide, and to continue with this book and this whatever it is. And she's saying she left a book for you. She left something behind for you, but also you getting on board with the book, but also wait, what's that? Okay. I was to make sure we're on the same board on this. I was reading this. So yeah, and I think that's what she wants you to understand. Does that make sense with Susie, by the way, before we end this, Amanda? That book thing? And carrying on with that, and her teaching you. I hope that makes sense to you. But they both are by your side. Again, I don't have you in front of me. I have a little picture. So, of course, in an actual session, things will be a lot clearer, and where I'm not just talking to myself on a screen. So that's kind of the generalizations I'm getting on that. But the most important thing was to continue moving forward without the influence of the brother and sister energy, that your dad is very much in agreement and supporting you on that. Okay? All right. Well, this comes... Okay, glad it does. Because I was getting a lot of different things here and there, and I don't have you in front of me. But she's also with you, playing a guide, playing a role, so I think you might hear her a lot too, okay? All right, guys, it's been an interesting evening. I'm a little tired, actually. This eclipse, after eclipse energy really kind of has gotten me boggled down and tired. So it's been a pleasure. I appreciate all you guys for coming. And remember your dreams. But you know what, Amanda, here's another thing too. I think that you are going to... write a book or something to you somehow, some connection with you writing a book to you, or writing some literature. I think it's going to be something you write, because he's saying she's going to inspire you to write. So maybe she'll help you to channel writing or do some sort of channeled writing in a sense. So pay attention to that too. Okay, Amanda? That might be something that comes about in the future as well, that I feel like. Okay. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your night. And again, if you want to book a personal session with me, a one-on-one session, my website is in the bio. Let me clear some of the stuff out of here. Okay, we're clear. I'm here every Thursday, as you all know. So share it. Tell everybody else to come on board and join the community. If you want to book a one-on-one session with me, my link is in the bio, scottcruzpm.com, for a life reading or for a mediumship session, or just for a session called Intuition Builder, which is to help you to develop your own psychic and mediumship abilities. And if not, just come every Thursday. Hang out. Have fun. Get a reading done. Whatever. Talk to the community here. And until then, I'll see you next week. And I have an exciting project that will be coming out. Christopher and I and a couple others in a couple weeks. We'll be sharing a new project, launching a new project. And those of you who are going to Unite the Light, it'd be great to see you in Unite the Light. I will be posting the links to such, if those of you who don't know, to get your tickets for for May in Austin, Texas. Good to see you in person. There'll be some conventions, some fellowship, some presentations. I'll be presenting as well, and some panel discussions. So it'll be fun to hang out. And let's get spiritual, spiritual. I want to get spiritual. Wasn't that cringe? That was totally cringe. But I mean, it's true. We're going to be getting spiritual. And until then, ladies and gents, have a wonderful rest of your night. And remember, you are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love, guys. Good night.
Building on a culture.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table. No, you said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
my God, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In